In the small, picturesque village of Meadowgrove, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, lived a woman named Elizabeth. At 60 years old, Elizabeth had seen her fair share of life's ups and downs. Her husband of 35 years had recently left her, filing for divorce and leaving her to navigate the world alone. The quiet village, which had once been a place of comfort and familiarity, now felt vast and empty. Elizabeth lived in a cozy cottage at the edge of the village, surrounded by a garden that she tended with loving care. Her days were filled with simple routines, baking bread, reading by the window, and taking long walks through the countryside. Despite the loneliness that often crept in, she found solace in the beauty of nature and the kindness of her neighbors. One sunny afternoon, as Elizabeth was walking along the riverbank, she noticed a young man sitting on a large rock, sketching the landscape. He was tall and handsome, with a mop of curly brown hair and eyes that sparkled with youthful energy. She approached him, curious about his artwork. "That's a beautiful sketch," Elizabeth said, peering over his shoulder. The young man looked up and smiled. "Thank you. I'm trying to capture the essence of this place." "You're doing a wonderful job," she replied, genuinely impressed. "I'm Elizabeth, by the way." "Nice to meet you, Elizabeth." "I'm Lucas," he said, extending his hand. Over the next few weeks, Elizabeth and Lucas found themselves crossing paths more often. Lucas, who was 18 years old, had moved to Meadowgrove with his family a few months earlier. He was an aspiring artist, and the village provided him with endless inspiration. Elizabeth, with her gentle demeanor and wise words, became a source of comfort and encouragement for him. As their friendship deepened, Elizabeth began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time, a flutter in her heart, a warmth in her cheeks. She found herself looking forward to their meetings, cherishing the moments they spent together. Lucas, too, seemed to enjoy her company, often seeking her out to share his latest sketches or to listen to her stories. One evening, as they sat on the riverbank watching the sunset, Lucas turned to Elizabeth. "You know, you've become really important to me," he said softly. "I feel like I can be myself around you." Elizabeth felt a lump form in her throat. She knew she was treading on dangerous ground, but she couldn't deny the feelings that were blossoming within her. "You're important to me too, Lucas," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Their relationship was unconventional, to say the least. The age difference was significant, and the village was not immune to gossip. But Elizabeth and Lucas found a deep connection that transcended age and societal norms. They supported each other, laughed together, and found joy in each other's company. In the end, their love story was not about romance or passion, but about friendship, understanding, and the unexpected bonds that can form between two souls. Elizabeth found a new lease on life, and Lucas found a mentor and a friend. Together, they navigated the complexities of life, finding beauty and meaning in the most unexpected places. As the seasons changed, Elizabeth and Lucas's bond grew stronger. They spent many afternoons together, exploring the countryside, sharing stories, and laughing at each other's jokes. The village, initially abuzz with whispers and speculation, slowly began to accept their unusual friendship. After all, it was clear that they brought out the best in each other. One crisp autumn day, Lucas invited Elizabeth to an art exhibition in the nearby town, where he was displaying some of his work. Elizabeth, who had never been to an art exhibition, eagerly accepted the invitation. She was excited to see Lucas's art in a professional setting and to support him in his passion. The exhibition was a success. Lucas's artwork received praise from critics and visitors alike. Elizabeth beamed with pride as she watched him discuss his work with admirers. As the evening wound down, Lucas approached Elizabeth with a small, wrapped package. "What's this?" she asked, surprised. "Just a little something I made for you," Lucas said, smiling. Elizabeth carefully unwrapped the package to reveal a beautifully crafted sketchbook. On the first page was a sketch of her, sitting in her garden, surrounded by flowers. The detail and love that went into the drawing were evident in every line. "Lucas, this is beautiful," Elizabeth said, her eyes welling up with tears. "Thank you so much." "It's just a small token of my appreciation for everything you've done for me," Lucas replied, his voice filled with sincerity. As they walked back to Meadowgrove under the starlit sky, Elizabeth felt a sense of contentment she hadn't experienced in a long time. She realized that love and companionship could come in many forms, and that age was just a number when it came to true connections. Their relationship continued to blossom, not as a romantic love story, but as a deep and meaningful friendship that enriched both their lives. Elizabeth found a renewed sense of purpose, and Lucas found a mentor and a friend who understood him like no one else. Together, they faced the challenges and joys of life, proving that love and friendship know no boundaries. The village of Meadowgrove became a witness to their unique bond, a testament to the power of human connection and the beauty of unconventional love. As winter set in, Meadowgrove was transformed into a snowy wonderland. Elizabeth and Lucas spent many cozy evenings by the fireplace, sharing stories and planning future adventures. Their bond continued to deepen, and they became inseparable. One day, while they were out for a walk in the snow, Lucas suddenly stopped and turned to Elizabeth. "I've been thinking," he said, his breath visible in the cold air. "I want to study art in Paris. I've been accepted to an art school there, and I think it's an opportunity one can't miss." Elizabeth felt a pang in her heart, but she also felt a surge of pride and happiness for him. "Lucas, that's wonderful news. You should absolutely go," she said, smiling warmly. "But, what about you?" Lucas asked, his eyes filled with concern. "I don't want to leave you alone." Elizabeth took his hand and squeezed it gently. "I'll be fine, Lucas. This is your dream, and you should follow it. I'll be here, cheering you on every step of the way." Over the next few weeks, they prepared for Lucas's departure. Elizabeth helped him pack, and they spent as much time together as possible. The day of his departure arrived too soon. As they stood at the bus stop, Elizabeth handed Lucas a small package. "What's this?" he asked, surprised. "Just a little something to remember me by," Elizabeth said, smiling. Lucas opened the package to reveal a beautifully knitted scarf in his favorite colors. He wrapped it around his neck and hugged Elizabeth tightly. "I'll never forget you, Elizabeth. You've changed my life," he whispered. As the bus pulled away, Elizabeth waved goodbye, tears streaming down her face. She felt a profound sense of loss, but also a deep sense of joy and fulfillment. She had played a part in nurturing a young soul and helping him find his path in life. In the months that followed, Elizabeth received regular letters from Lucas, filled with stories of his adventures in Paris and his progress at art school. She cherished each letter, reading them over and over again. She also started volunteering at the local library, sharing her love for stories with the children of Meadowgrove. One day, she received a letter from Lucas that contained a special invitation. He was having his first solo exhibition in Paris and wanted Elizabeth to be there. Without a moment's hesitation, Elizabeth packed her bags and set off on her first international adventure. The exhibition was a resounding success. Lucas's art was praised for its depth and maturity, and Elizabeth beamed with pride as she watched him shine. As they stood together amidst the beautiful paintings, they knew that their bond had transcended time and distance. Elizabeth returned to Meadowgrove with a heart full of memories and a renewed sense of purpose. She continued to live her life to the fullest, surrounded by the love and support of her friends and neighbors. And every time she looked at the sketchbook Lucas had given her, she was reminded of the beautiful, unconventional friendship that had changed her life forever.